You are listening to the heaviest hard rock heavy metal show on WYCR. I am one half of the dream team of Nick Rippo and Pete Considori. Oh, that's not gonna go over well. Pete's gonna be like, "You said what?" Anyhow, ladies and gentlemen, of course, I am flying solo during this broadcast. As I mentioned earlier, Pete Considori is at Concordia College right now performing drums for a friend of his who's doing a musical thesis at Concordia, and I wish Pete a lot of luck and his friend a lot of luck with the performance. Now, I mentioned at the start of the broadcast, of course, the untimely death of the Ultimate Warrior over WrestleMania weekend. Something else quite shocking happened at WrestleMania 30. Daniel Bryan winning the title was not it. Daniel Bryan defeated Triple H in the opening match of WrestleMania 30 and earned the right to enter the triple threat match at the end of the night for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, also featuring the Animal Batista as well as reigning champion at the time, Randy Orton. It was actually a pretty good match, not the greatest match in WrestleMania history, but for what it's worth, it was a good match, and Bryan won the title. It was a tremendous feel-good moment. Seeing 75,000 people doing yes chants, it was insane to watch. But that's not the shocking moment. Although, yes, it was a wonderful moment and it was to happen. The streak is over. The Undertaker's undefeated streak at WrestleMania is no more because it was ended at the hands of the anomaly, the beast incarnate, Brock Lesnar. And yes, I said it like Paul Heyman softly, Brock Lesnar. The beast incarnate, the anomaly, a former NCAA Division I heavyweight champion, a former WWE champion, a former UFC heavyweight champion. The only man in the history of all three organizations to actually do all three. No one has ever held all three of those titles. And Brock Lesnar now can say that he was the man that broke the streak. It wasn't a very good match. You know, in the canon of Undertaker's matches at WrestleMania, this was not the top greatest match in terms of what happened in the ring. Reports later actually would come out to say that The Undertaker suffered a severe concussion during the match at a particular point. So as it turns out, Brock had to actually carry the match for the most part because Taker was, I don't want to say out on his feet, but he was not in any wholly right mind to carry the match. But when the moment happened that Brock Lesnar hit that third F5 and got the 1-2-3, there was a stunned silence in the Superdome. There wasn't even a whole lot of booing. It was just quiet, as if the entire audience just said, "What? Like, what? Did that just happen?" The entire arena, the entire stadium, 75,000 people were shocked. Even people who were rooting for Brock Lesnar to win, or people, who would have liked someone to beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania, it was sort of like a pipe dream. You'd think you'd like it to happen, but until the moment actually happens, you don't realize The Undertaker just lost. And it took Justin Roberts, the announcer, about a minute or two to actually announce to the crowd, "Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this match, Brock Lesnar." And Paul Heyman, being the greatest manager alive today that he is, started just screaming at the top of his lungs to Brock, "Oh my God, you did it, you did it." And the crowd, hands on their heads, mouth agape, just couldn't believe it. And you could tell when Taker got up finally, and he was trying to sell, doing the whole sitting up from the grave type deal. He didn't really pander to the crowd. He didn't do any poses, and they put up that figure of 21-1, and the entire crowd was just flabbergasted. Like, did that just actually happen? And I was completely shocked that it did happen. And it's one of those things, like I mentioned, that while you may be rooting for somebody else to win, until the moment actually happens, you don't realize what just happened. It was just a complete shock. A complete shock. And there wasn't even heavy booing after the match. It was just total shock from 75,000 people as Taker walked away. It was one of the most incredible things I think I'd ever seen. And again, not in terms of being a scientific masterpiece, just in the terms of the sheer shock value, because it's something that people thought would not happen. A similar thing can be said of, as I mentioned earlier, about the now late great Ultimate Warrior. The Warrior, when he wrestled Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 6, while it was two good guys fighting each other, and while the crowd in the Sky Dome, which I think had about, I want to say 68,000 people, about somewhere in the area, no one actually conceived it possible for Hogan to lose a match. Hogan had been built up as this pretty much unstoppable babyface, and yeah, he'd done injury angles. Yeah, he'd been shown, to have opposition that could, pose a challenge. But nobody had ever, since Hulk Hogan won the World Wrestling Federation Championship from the Iron Sheik in January of '84 in the Garden, Hulk Hogan had never lost a televised. I don't believe Hulk Hogan had ever lost a televised match from that point. Whether it be on a pay-per-view like a WrestleMania or Saturday Night's Main Event, Hulk Hogan had not lost a match on television. And it was built to the point where no one conceived that Hulk Hogan could lose a match. So when the Ultimate Warrior pinned Hulk Hogan clean in the middle of the ring for the title and became the heavyweight champion, the Sky Dome, some of them were cheering, some of them were just shocked that Hogan had lost. So while they were cheering for the Warrior, it was still the case that they were shocked that the Warrior actually beat Hogan. So it was a crazy weekend, and also an incredible Monday Night Raw. So a lot of good things from Monday Night Raw. We have promo videos for two new NXT guys. Bo Dallas, who is a former NXT now champion. I'm not personally a big fan of his, but they like him. So we'll see what happens with that. And then Adam Rose and the Exotic Express. This gimmick only debuted maybe a month ago. Maybe. And you talk about an instant push. He's already going to be on the main roster. Already. And when I saw the promo video, I called my brother and I said, Joey, you got to come see this. And he looks and he sees the thing. And we start doing the Adam Rose dance. And it was a good time. Also, the television debuts, official in-ring debuts on Raw of Alexander Rusev with the ravishing Russian Lana, who did a squash on Zack Ryder, just tossed him around the ring and had a good showing. And Paige, with a surprise, coming to Raw and in a match that a lot of people wanted to see, which I'm sure now they'll work a program later on, for the next couple of weeks at least. Paige upsetting the 200-plus day reign of AJ Lee for the Divas Championship, and the crowd was chanting, "This is awesome! This is awesome!" And AJ kind of jumped Paige, but then AJ had locked Paige in her submission, which I think is it's a version of an octopus stretch. She calls it the Black Widow. Paige counters it and hits her Paige Turner finisher and gets the 1-2-3 and wins the belt, and the whole crowd was just totally shocked, as was I. So it was a very good showing on Raw. A lot of good things. The Shield finally becoming official babyfaces, full-on babyfaces. So it was a good night. It was a very good night. And to kind of incorporate something else with that, Triple H calls himself the King of Kings. And at WrestleMania, he lost to Daniel Bryan. He tried at the end of the night in the main event to mess with the match and take out the one referee and put in a crooked referee and all this craziness. And the next night on Raw, he challenged Bryan to a championship, or basically said, "You're defending the title against me tonight," because he is legitimately the COO of WWE, and on television he's portraying kind of a man with an abuse of power. So, just the screen went kind of blank there for a minute. So I play this song, and this next set is a Metallica set. We're going to hear 3 songs from Metallica. By the way, I forgot to mention in the last set, the 3 songs we heard from Megadeth were Skin of My Teeth, She-Wolf, and Peace Sells. And now in this set, we're going to hear from Metallica 3 songs. We're going to hear King Nothing, we're going to hear Don't Treat on Me, and we're going to hear Creeping Death. So I play this first song in tribute to Triple H, in tribute to the King of Kings. Or is he King Nothing? You are listening to a triplet of Metallica songs here on the Heaviest Rock Show on WICR. You are listening to Full Metal Attack.